Nothing triggers me to no end like a guy who's like, I really like Francesca Hong's policies, but I'm also a stupid guy who in his diapers, and I will be Soylent Green one day because I'm so dumb. It's like pundit brain. I can't do it.
Leftist streaming star Hasan Piker's favorite candidate just lost, and I find his tears absolutely delicious. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, your home for independent and nonpartisan commentary and analysis on politics, media, internet insanity, and more. This one's a little bit of all of the above because we already covered the huge election result last night. Actually, technically this morning, the race was called at like 4 a.m. between Francesca Hong, the leftist Democratic Socialists of America aligned candidate in the Wisconsin governor's race on the Democratic side, competing for the Democratic nomination, and then David Crowley, who is more of a semi-establishment, semi-less leftist Democrat. We already covered the big bombshell result, which is that Crowley won, even though Francesca Hong was heavily favored and up in all of the polls. Now we're going to enjoy the live documented, live streamed meltdown of one of the most toxic and extreme figures in mainstream American politics and online political commentary, Hasan Piker, because he was live streaming as the results came in and the night went on, and he was not happy with what happened, and so he kind of crashed out on stream. We're going to go through it all, but first, here's a clip of summing up some more details about the election result.
Establishment Democrats are probably breathing a sigh of relief. They were afraid that a Hong victory would essentially hand the GOP the keys to the governor's mansion in November. Hong had faced scrutiny over previous social media posts and lacked the endorsements of prominent progressives like Senator Bernie Sanders and AOC. Her narrow loss coming on the heels of a close race in Michigan showing that centrist voters still yield a lot of influence, especially in swing states.
So naturally, after his preferred candidate lost, Hasan Piker decided to have a little bit of humility and a little bit of introspection and try to understand why maybe voters didn't feel Oh, you actually thought. No, he decided to lash out at voters who went for Crowley over Hong and called one of them less than dirt. Listen to this.
Not true at all. I support candidates like Mamdani and El Sayed, but I support Crowley in this race. She ran a disastrous campaign, walking back many of her takes and doesn't even seem confident in her own platform. I'm glad seeming like Crowley is pulling this one out. Yeah, this is another kind of guy I have no respect for. You're lower than dirt. I mean, this person is like lower than dirt to me.
Well, Hasan seems to be doing well and having an absolutely normal one. What do you mean? This progressive voter on Twitter explaining their decision about which candidates to support is lower than dirt to you, and you have no respect for them because they reach a different conclusion than you. That's pretty close-minded, and it's just very extreme, because where did he lie? This poster on Twitter talked about how Hong's candidacy and campaign was a mess. She was all over the place. She didn't know what she stood for. She tried to walk back the cancel Thanksgiving thing. She kind of glitched on basic questions about her record and the position she holds about defund the police, abolish prisons, abolish jails. She was tied to this this extremely radical group, the Democratic Socialists of America, whose platform calls for an actual socialist takeover of major industries, for abolishing the United States Constitution and our system of government, for open borders and more. And this voter that Hasan is reading his post on Twitter was like, yeah, I mean, I just felt more comfortable with the Crowley guy. I supported other progressive candidates like El Sayed in Michigan, but I just thought Francesca Hong was going to fail and wasn't a good candidate, so I didn't want to vote for her. And Hasan's not like just disagreeing with that and explaining why it's wrong. He's crashing out on the person saying they're lower than dirt. He is so unhinged. He genuinely always comes off as so unstable. I don't understand how his viewers are not unnerved by it. It's like genuinely slightly concerning. But anyway, the flip side of this as well is that it's objectively just true. Republicans who have a candidate that they thought could beat Hong overwhelmingly preferred her to be the nominee than for Crowley to be the nominee because they thought she would be much easier to beat. That's why both the polling and the prediction markets and the Republicans' spending Republican PACs and people pushing the Republican agenda invested in pro-Hong ads in the primary. That's how much weaker they thought she was as a candidate than Crowley. So everything this dude said on Twitter is just like obviously true. Whether you, and I probably disagree with this guy on most things if he's a progressive voter, but his just assessment of political reality is correct. And for that, Hasan Piker is calling him less than dirt. He's clearly coping very well. Now we're going to watch a scary rant from as the night went on and reports came in. Hasan starts reading an article where somebody explains why they voted for Crowley over Hong, and he crashes out. My editor's going to have to bleep a lot of this, but let's take a look.
Here's an article about the inside the mind of a late deciding Crowley voter. A number of late deciding Democratic primary voters who spoke to NBC News in Madison on Tuesday ended up voting for Crowley. One of them, Allie Plummer, said of Hong, "I really back a lot of what she's saying. The DSA label doesn't shy me away. You know, in fact, I probably would lean more towards that." Okay, I don't want to read this because I will myself with a gun in a video game. Okay, I don't want to hear this. I can't. I'm in a good mood overall. I want to put boomers in the.
That's because this was a little earlier in the night before the final results were called. And he was already crashing out in this erratic and violent way. Of course, he doesn't mean it literally. It's just that kind of shock jock commentary that these like gamer edgelord bro types do. But it's still such a crazy reaction to just an article explaining why some people voted for Crowley over Hong. Like, really, you should probably be, as a full-time political commentator and analyst, a little more composed than that. You should be able to read an article without crashing out like this. But it got worse. He kept going. Let's keep going. If you or your child spent years growing up on social media and experienced serious mental health issues, you should hear this. Recently, a jury ordered Meta and YouTube to pay millions for their role in designing and promoting addictive platforms. They knew their apps could contribute to anxiety, depression, and body image issues, but did not share those risks while prioritizing profits. The recent historic verdict underscores the consequences of those decisions. Now, Morgan & Morgan is stepping up to hold these platforms accountable for the harm they caused. Click the link in my bio to take a short quiz, as you may be entitled to a potential recovery of over $1,000. Now back to the show.
Anyone that says that, I can't do it. That nothing triggers me to no end like a guy who's like, I really like Francesca Hong's policies, but I'm also a stupid guy who shits in his diapers. And I will be Soylent Green one day because I'm so dumb. It's like pundit brain. I can't do it.
Excuse me?
I can't. You're going to catch me shitting on voters. I don't like shitting on voters. It's always our fault. It's always the campaign's fault. It's always our fault. We didn't try hard enough. Okay? We didn't try hard enough. That's what happened. What happened.
He's losing it.
We should have tried harder. But goddamn, dude. Pundit brain is cancer. It is the most cancerous, most toxic, most idiotic attitude. We literally, oh God, I'm about to start talking about what we deserve. I swear to God. You know the story about teaching a monkey the brain of the median American voter? Yes, I know. I do know the story. The monkey hanged himself. I'm the monkey. And I've been staring too much at the median American voter for the last couple of months. I need a fucking break.
There's so much about this clip that is genuinely remarkable. Just in what it says about Hasan. First of all, he keeps ranting about the median American voter. That's not who we're talking about in this clip. We're talking about Democratic primary voters who are actually not at all representative of the median American voter. They're significantly to the left and significantly more politically engaged than the median American voter. So, and I don't even think he knew the age of the person that he was talking about. Maybe it said in the article, I don't know, but he just started rambling about boomers and then started talking about like vague allusions to different forms of violence. And then he's like bashing this person who just decided to vote for Crowley over Hong as having pundit brain. And what he means is he's like griping that a lot of people thought she was unelectable and that voting for her meant a Republican win. And so they're like, even if they maybe are a little more sympathetic to her brand of politics over Crowley, they're like, well, I'm going to vote for him because he'll actually win, and it's more important to have a Democratic governor. Now, listen, I'm not a Democrat, so I don't necessarily share that thought process. Like, I don't find it super relatable, but on its own merits, it's not like deeply unreasonable, right? You make these kinds of calculations. Part of selecting a candidate in a primary is considering their chances in the general election. And everybody agrees in serious political analysis world. I mean, Hasan's kind of an alien to that world, I understand, but everyone agrees Hong is a weaker candidate who Republicans would love to go against. And it's so funny to me that Hasan is out here stumping for like the most deeply unserious woman with just this lengthy laundry list of crazy old statements that are just perfect fodder for campaign ads, who's taken all these batshit policy positions, defund the police, all this stuff, who's ranted and ranted about whiteness in a state that's overwhelmingly white people. It's like he stumped for and decided to make his ride or die a candidate with all these flaws. And then when people don't choose her, he crashes out, and the voters are the problem. The people are the problem. Not Hasan, not his judgment. Oh, no. Not his candidate, not any of the mistakes she made, any of the crazy dumb things she said and done and stood for over the years. All of that is fine and well and good. It's the voters and Americans that are just so stupid and dumb. Wow. The accountability, not in the room with us. The introspection, the reflection, not even in the building with us at this point. I can't say any of that is surprising from Hasan Piker, but it was already a great thing to wake up to see this leftist crazy DSA candidate go down and lose this race. She was overwhelmingly favored, and then we get to see Hasan crashing out on the timeline like this. And just like the worst person, one of the worst people in all of politics in terms of literally supporting designated terror groups, cheering on terror attacks on his live streams, saying Republicans should be murdered, all this horrific stuff, which, by the way, I think he was joking about his America Deserved 9/11 clip in that clip we played when he said, I'm going to start talking about what voters deserve or something like that. I think he was joking about that, which is like, once again, we're told he's super regretful and remorseful about all of this. Sure, Jan. But no, it's just so funny because he's actually out here just the worst person, one of the worst people in political commentary, and he's crashing out and having a terrible night because he's not getting his way. At least, you know what? There is a little bit of hope core in this world. I watch everything that's happening in politics and the news lately on really across the spectrum, and I'm just so deeply demoralized and disillusioned by it all. But once in a while, I do stumble across some hope core, some bright side to be discovered in the dark side of a lot of the political news and events and things we're living through and times we're living through. And I find when really terrible people don't get their way, I do find their tears delicious. And so that's like my little silver lining of recent times. It was this. So I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed watching his crash out, though it is slightly unnerving, I really will say. I hope you enjoyed it as well, but you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments below. Do make sure to subscribe to this channel if you aren't yet. Do hit the like button while you're at it and consider becoming a channel member. I'm not, the big multi-million follower, huge mansion, socialist LA streamer. I'm just a wee little political YouTuber over here, so I do need support from viewers like you. Hit the join button or click the link in the description to become a channel member. It's the best way to support me. Regardless, guys, thank you so much for being here, and we will be back with more real soon.